Now that we've seen how to display the contents of files, I can show you another couple of very clever little utilities for displaying the differences between similar files. You might have a couple of files on your system. Maybe there are two files that you're not sure whether they're the same or whether they're different. Or maybe you know that they're two different files and you want to actually determine how they're different. Maybe they're two different versions of a document and you want to find out simply what changes you made from one version to the next. Well, let's have a look at that. There are two programs for doing this depending on what is inside the file. The first and most commonly used is a program called diff. It compares two text files. The files must be text files in the same way that the files that you use to display using cat, more, head and tail are text files. What it will do, what diff will do, is display the complete list of differences between the two files on the screen. This is how diff works. Let's have a look at my directory again. I've added another file here. I've added a file called seconduser.list, which is just here, which is a virtual duplicate of user.list, except I've just made a couple of sneaky little changes so that we can see them in the program called diff. So here we go, diff user.list and seconduser.list, and we press enter and we get the differences listed for us. Now the differences are displayed like this. The little arrow pointing to the left indicates that that is a line of text from the first file. The little arrow pointing to the right indicates that is a line of text from the second file. So the B. Grossman line there has a 23 on it there and it has a 9 on it there, and that's the difference between those two files as far as line 6 is concerned. This says that on line 6 we change to line 6 on the other file. How you read this is you say, right, on line 6 there is one different line here, one line of differences, and that's how it looks on the first file, and that's how it looks on the second file. Now on line 11 you need to add one line if you want to duplicate what's in the second one. The second one has a line in it called Gumby such and such, and the first file has on line 18 a file in it called Satori that the second one doesn't have. So there's examples of three different changes here. I've actually modified a line from the 23 to the 9, that's changed. I have added a line in the second file which looks like this, and I have deleted a line that looks like this. And thus you can compare. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's fairly straightforward. That is how you use diff. The second program is called comp, which is short for compare. And that's very similar to diff, except it will compare binary files, not text files. It will compare files as well, but it's mostly used for binary files because with text files we have a much better tool called diff. Comp only gives us one line of output. It gives us a simple statement about where the files are different. It gives us the character location within the files where they start to diverge. They may be divergent from the very first character in each file, or they may be entirely identical, in which case you'll get a message telling you that. Let's have a look at that. Let's do a CMP of bin file and second bin file. Bin file, second bin file differ at character 1002, line 2. I chose those two particular files to compare because they are in fact binary files. What would happen if I had a look at one of those files using cat? Well, let's have a look. Type in cat bin file and I get, well, I don't know if you saw that, it scrolled past very, very quickly. It was essentially just hieroglyphics, unprintable characters. In other words, it wasn't ASCII readable text, it was binary text. And because such output is so garbled, it doesn't make any sense to try and use it using cat or diff or any one of those other text-based programs.